Alright, it's been a while since I played this game. I'm going on vacation, so doing a little camping out into the wilderness there. Felt pretty good. Needed a little relaxation, just get away from city life, and yeah, the basement once in a while. Yeah, I'm not too rusty. I don't even remember where I was doing last time. So, anyway, what are you gonna do about? Oh, you're gonna. Oh shit! Oh crap! What are you gonna do in there, bud? Oh. All right, so not really good at talking to basically no one there. A few people. I see another viewer there. I'm gonna do a little practice on basically how to talk to it when there's nobody there. So I figured the best way to do that is to actually tell you a story about a coworker of mine. Now, I've had a few jobs. Some of them are kind of strange. This is kind of a strange job. So I used to actually carry drywall into people's houses. So if you need drywall into like a basement or whatever, we basically take all that stuff downstairs or whatever. But you run into some really weird people over a period of time. Um, yeah, I used to work with this guy. I'm not gonna name his names because he's got his own privacy or whatever, and this makes him look pretty foolish too. So kind of don't want to have to name his names. Anyway, this guy kind of was a really weird dude. Like he just everything about him. You're just kind of like, why would you do that? Like, why would you? Anyway, this would sum up this particular person. We'll call him Mr. Pierre for the sake of it. Um, so Mr. Pierre, he had this kind of like this voice, like Skeletor, like kind of like that, kind of like a voice when he would talk to people, and I always thought it was like kind of like the most bizarre thing. Um, but like it's basically a part of this voice, and it just made this guy super obnoxious. And he was married to this, or he wasn't married, but he was in a relationship with this older lady. He was like 45, and she was like pretty much like 60 years old. And yeah, and his breath was horrible. Like that was like one of the biggest features. It's just like I offered him a breath mint one time, and he was just like, "Well, why do I need that?" And I'm like, "Well, because your breath is horrible." So anyway, this what the? I hear somebody attacking my stuff. Yeah, get out of here. So, uh, that's right. That's what I thought. The guy attacking it. Alright, not to get too off track here. Hear another guy around here. So he was basically taking care of this this incident that happened. I was basically in the truck. We were just right about to do a delivery. His girlfriend's daughter calls him, and apparently this dog died. Like, they didn't take it to the vet like a normal person, but she basically said that this dog died, and it's pretty sad. So we decided to take. He gets this phone call on here, and he's like, "Oh, dog died. I'm gonna have to go do something about it." So they already buried this poor dog, right? So for whatever reason, he's like, now I'm gonna have to go out and get another dog. I'm like, well, that's kind of like not the only thing that I'm thinking. I'm like, this lady already has like kids or whatever, and so poor dog is already dead, buried, and they had to bury it. Then they were just like, well, we're gonna have to go get a new dog. I'm like, geez, like no time for mourning or anything. Let's just, go get a new dog. And not to mention, this is like their second dog, so they already have 2 dogs. It's just this one died already. So he goes out, and this is pretty much like right after work. They get a brand new dog because like the kids are like, "Oh, my poor dog," and it's like, yeah, well, what about the dog that's good that you just bought? It kind of feels sorry for him. So they get this new dog, and they name him Peanut, and it's like, oh my god, why would you name your dog Peanut? And not to offend anybody who's named their dog Peanut, but like, don't let your kids name your dogs. Like, they're just terrible. They just always come up with terrible names, like Peanut. And it was a little dachshund. He paid $500 for this dog. And that's all he was complaining about, is like the dog costs like way too much money or whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that there's like more important things than how much it costs you to pay for a dog, but anyway. So they get this dog, and things are pretty normal. And then 2 days later, we're doing another delivery. Gets another phone call, and he's like, answering, "Hi, how's it going? What? What?" And this is all I'm hearing is, "What? What? What do you mean it's still alive?" So what happened apparently was that this dog got, the initial dog that they had, they buried it alive, and it just had a heart attack. So they took it to the vet, and it's like, oh yeah, it had a mild heart attack. It wasn't dead at all. So they buried this poor dog alive. And it's like, why would, like, oh my god. And the first thing I'm thinking of is zombie dog. And just like, this thing came back from the dead. It's like, I kind of wondering what sound it kind of made, like, arf, arf. And what would he eat? Would he eat humans or other dogs? Like, anyway, that guy, that's like that's the first thing that you would do, is just, you would take the dog to the vet and see like what was wrong with it, even if it was dead. But apparently they buried this poor frickin' dog alive. And I was just like, oh my god, man, you were an incredibly huge loser. There's no way other to describe it. Just this is just one little thing about this person, and it's like I could go through like many other stories that like it just boggles my mind. Like I would imagine that would be like the first thing I would check to see. Take the stupid dog to the vet. Like why would you bury a dog alive? That's freaking horrible. You know, I imagine it's like maybe you should like take those dogs both to like the pound so you don't like ruin another dog's lives or whatever. Like, Lord, horrible, horrible thing to do. It probably didn't really help that I didn't like this person very much anyway, but like, I've probably told that story many times to other people, and hopefully it just gave me a little bit better flow on how to talk online. I'll probably tell more stories like that, see if I can get a better flow or whatever. You know, um, yeah, like I don't know if you guys had any incidents like that, like with a coworker just being a total knob. And believe me, I got a lot of stories about coworkers being knobs, and like I won't drop any names or anything, but good lord, that was probably like the strangest incident I've ever encountered. Yeah, I don't think I would ever do that to my dog. I don't think I would ever have the balls to like bury my own dog or put my own like physically put my own dog down. I think people who had to do that in the past or whatever, you know, I don't think you would be psychologically okay with yourself if you had to like do that. I don't think I would. I think it would be a very difficult thing for me to do. So that's my story about. Hmm. I was reading all up on that Q&A the other day. Interesting what they're possibly going to do. Hmm. Once again, doesn't really give you any answers on what they're actually going to do, as I figured they would. Just generalize. So they did say that it was basically it's just like, so what are you gonna do with this? We're working on it. So they don't actually know what's going on with it. Oh yeah, we're working on it. I'm like, well, you could be working on a lot of things. I'm working on it. It's like, yeah, I'm working on this, but I have no idea what it's gonna fully encompass. I'm just working on it. Lord. Yeah. So anyway, my holidays was pretty interesting. It got kind of rainy out into the weather, so I like to actually do a little bit of fishing when I'm out there. Mostly just catch and release. I don't like to keep anything. You know. I always find that the fish that I do find, it's always kind of like stocked fish. Stocked fish don't generally always taste that great. Usually people like the wild fish, and it does have a certain flavor to it. Yeah, it's nice to get out of the city once in a while. Not too bad. I went with my old man and had some male bonding time. Kind of kept the dog at home or whatever. Um, hmm. No, I just the river was really really high though. I would think probably hopefully next time when the river won't be so high, I could probably do a little bit of fishing on the river. If I was gonna do any fishing on that river, I was gonna be swept away, and yeah, not exactly very safe to be on that river. I also kind of like blew my tire out the 2 days, so I hit a huge rock on the just going up this really rugged trail. They were kind of like regrading the trail, so generally on these like kind of like backwoods trails or whatever, it's they usually get chewed up pretty good. So they have to like kind of like regrade it. So when they were doing that, I had this. There was this huge rock in the middle of the road, and I was trying to swerve to avoid it. Just hit the driver's side on it, and I hit this huge dent. And I pull over to the side, and I look at my tire, and like I am losing air, like crazy. I'm like, ah, crap, man. Like, luckily my old man was there, which was kind of nice. Like, I can handle it myself, but like, you know, when you're both kind of in a situation, it's kind of nice to have like, you know, like whatever you need to get done, you can get some help or whatever, and you're not kind of like stranded out there by yourself, cussing at yourself because you hit this enormous rock. And I put a big dent in that rim, so luckily it was just the rim that I destroyed. So I had to take this rim back to like basically into town. So I had to put the spare on, and then drive all the way into town, which was probably a good like maybe about like 40 kilometers or whatever. Or if you want to do it in miles, I think it's like 20 miles or something like that. Or no, it's like divided by 1.5. That was how much it would be in miles. So maybe about 30 miles it would be to get this thing fixed. Yeah, and I was so angry about it. So we were able to call 411 and try to get the figure out where the closest one was, and it was like this tire place. And once again, I'm not gonna name names about of anything. I don't want to like slander them. They did a pretty good job in the end, but it was like such a major hassle. Like I had. So we called them ahead of time. We told them exactly what car make I have. I have a Mazda 3 2009. So a real piece of crap. So, but a pretty common vehicle that I own. So getting a tire like a new rim for it was like not shouldn't have been as big of a hassle as it was. But it was, as usual. It's never that easy. But I think I'll go and do a raid here. Do a couple of those. I don't want to get my shotgun today, so. So anyway, I go and get this bring this tire in, and they're like, yeah, I think we got this in stock. And then 20 minutes later, they call me, and they're like, yeah, we don't really have that in stock. We'll have to call it in. Now, I was already camping out there, and I was already going to be out there for like another day. So I'm like, yeah, it's just going to be a 1-day thing. I'm like, oh, that's not too bad. Like, I'm already out here for another day, so I'll just wait or whatever. So, not a big deal. So I go out fishing. My dad still had his truck, so we could go out and go basically continue our time. We didn't really need my vehicle. We took two vehicles because I was thinking I was going to be leaving there early anyway or whatever. But didn't really come to fruition because I couldn't drive and hit a rock. It's kind of like every time I play Scrap Mechanic here, I always end up hitting a rock somewhere. Except here, you don't mess up your rims when you do it. You just put it on a lift and you move on. So he orders a part on it. I'm like, okay, just another day or whatever. Calls me $20. We don't have the parts, so we got to order it. Only gonna be a day because we're pretty close to a major city where I live, so they had the part there. Continue doing my fishing or whatever, and it's like, well, I'll get my rim tomorrow or whatever, and it's gonna be 2 o'clock, which is roughly about the same amount of time I was gonna leave anyway. Pretty me. So I get all that all set up or whatever, and it's like I get there in the morning, and it's like, yeah, my part's still coming. I'm just gonna leave my car here because it's got the spare or whatever, and just to reconfirm everything. And I was like, oh yeah, it should be here. The place should be here. The truck with the delivery should be there in 1:30 or whatever. Okay, I'll see you later. I don't know, wasn't expecting, even if it arrived at 1:30, I would probably not harass them even if it was 2 o'clock, because they're a place of business. They probably have their priorities on which ones they work on first or whatever, right? So I don't get a choice in that, so I'm not gonna bug them. 1:30 rolls around. My dad is the most impatient person when it comes down to stuff. He hates waiting. He hates standing around there waiting. So he makes up this phony baloney excuse to go and do a quote for his own tires. But really, he's going in there to basically bug him and be like, okay, well, how come I'm not this done? You told my son 2 o'clock. Yeah. And I'm also, when things don't happen properly, I'm not exactly the most reasonable person to talk to. When I'm cheesed off, I get pretty angry. And it's almost impossible to reason with me. I need to always kind of take a step back and be like, whoa, okay, I kind of went overboard with that. So luckily my dad goes in. He worked in parts for a long time, so he kind of knows how the routine works for all this stuff. And he knew something was kind of fishy with it. To go in there and they'd be like, he asked about when my tire is going to be done. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, they didn't like, the courier didn't pick up the part. And I'm like, the first thing I'm thinking ahead when my dad told me this is just like, why didn't they just call me? Right? Like, if you're in customer service and something doesn't arrive and you know that it was supposed to not, it was supposed to be on there, the first thing you would do would it be, I'm going to call the customer. That's the first thing that you would do. Be like, oh yeah, I gotta call a customer because like he's kind of counting on this part or whatever. That didn't happen. So yeah, they didn't call me, and now I'm gonna have to stay there another day. Now I didn't have another day booked on the campsite, so I was like, well, now I'm gonna have to, like, I'm in town, so I'm gonna have to go get a motel or whatever, and kind of didn't want to have to spend more money just to get, something like that done. Like, I'm already spending money to get like a new rim that apparently is not going to arrive today. And I kind of was getting homesick. So I wanted to see my wife. I wanted to see my dog. I wanted to like, just kind of like chill out. Like everything worked out in the end, but what they managed to eventually do, like, my dad was just like, "Are you kidding me?" And he told him that he was. That's the one thing when you do customers, when you're interacting with, when something doesn't go right for you, and this is one thing probably most people could take a life lesson from, is, just chill out, right? Not everything is always that person's fault, right? Like, it was the courier never picked up the part, so really it's the courier's fault. So you shouldn't really be mad at the person, um, uh, who did your order for you, because like it's not their fault that that didn't get picked up, but it is their responsibility to make sure that the customer is also, um, informed of any changes, especially changes when you have to change. So they did eventually just, they made up on all that. So what they did was they found an old rusted rim that they were going to throw out anyway. It was going to fit my car. They slapped the old tire on there because there was nothing wrong with the tire. It was just the rim. And then I ended up managing to get home, which was like probably the most important thing. It was already stressful enough as it is anyway. So I was kind of happy that that was like all taken care of in the end. Yeah, like I said, in the normal circumstances, I would have been like super cheesed off. I would have like lost my mind. There would have been like definitely some cuss words been thrown around, and I probably it would not worked out for the best of me because I would have had to find a new place to basically get my tire done. Because you don't always get what you want in the end of it when you get super cheesed off like that. You actually make the situation work. And, like, after everything was said and done, I never had to pay even for that old old rim to get me home, for one thing. They put the tire on there, and they put the tire onto my car, right? And they didn't charge me a dime because they know that they messed up on the customer service end of it, which is pretty important. So so like learn from that, right? Like, the first thing is, don't get cheesed off at the person that you're talking to because they may not be the ones who are responsible for it. They might be covering for somebody else or whatever, and even still, even if they're responsible for it, like, there's ways of like basically making making good on it. Like, my dad told me a few things on customer service that I didn't really even think about. And just like, like good customer service, especially when somebody's in a jam or whatever, and you're in a town where you can kind of get a few things like these. What they could have done was make sure they could have called around town to see if they um, had another rim that would fit my car to begin with, and they would have said, "Hey, it's like I know it's kind of in a jam here or whatever, but like I could get another rim. It's going to probably cost you another like 10% or whatever, but at least I'll get you out of here and you have a new rim." So think about that. Like, not everything is always their fault. They could always make up for it. There's always ways of doing it. And hell, like even if you said, "Hey, it's going to cost you another 10% to get this fixed," right? And that company may have made another 10% and they kept the customer satisfied, which was kind of important too. Right? I really want to rate app. I need this rate app and I need some action. See if we got any spuds around here. No spuds in there. And we'll mess up this red guy's day up. So he'll give me some components. When they get the underwater bots, do you think they're going to use those green bots for their underwater bots? Like, I don't think they're going to actually go and make another robot to, like, actually be underwater or whatever. I think they're going to cheap out and get, like, another green guy or whatever. And like, make him the new underwater bot or whatever. I think there's like optimizations. They're already thinking of putting new bots into this new world or whatever, like the underground area. So yeah, they got a lot on their plate. And before I thought there was like maybe like 20 people that were working on this project. It's like 12, which kind of makes a lot of sense. Like, and I don't think it's like balanced very well because they have a lot of ideas, but they don't have a lot of like manpower to make it all come to fruition. Like, I think they have more creativity than actual people who can actually work. Right. How many more minutes? Check this out. Yeah, eventually I'll have all this stuff connected to like everything here eventually. I kind of want to get the base built up first. And then kind of like organize all of this. The other thing is like you get all this extra stuff. Like I don't know how many of the like I got one, basically two, three, about 3.5 of these like what are these things again? Like they're not the component kits. They're circuit boards. I feel like you should be able to. There should be a crafting recipe for these circuit boards to just get rid of some of them because they like just add up. It's almost like you should be able to get like 10 of these circuit boards and turn them into like one component kit. if you just have like way too many of them. Kind of wish we could have that. Like I said, I'm not ragging on this game. If I really disliked this game, I wouldn't be playing it. And I want to be that guy that complains about the game that he plays this game over and over again. And all he does is complain about how crappy it is. It's just seems like such a childish thing to do. Turn down. Stick all that in. Does not. No. They have all these mechanics in here, like the farming and building vehicles, and like make some crazy designs, but it still needs to like kind of like come together a little bit more. Like, yeah, you go to the farmer to go get weapons, but I feel like you should be able to farm uh, fruit and everything to get like metal or something, or um, like even like it's great that we're going after the red guys for like these warehouse keys, but if they're gonna do like the warehouse keys, I feel like you should have to farm a certain amount of stuff to get the warehouse key to go into there instead of having them all just kill like hundreds of warehouse guys and get stuck with a bunch of warehouse keys. Like eventually, I think they're like the next update. All of these are going to turn into component kits, so I kind of don't want to get rid of them. And then like yeah, new shirts are coming out, so I don't want to get rid of all these. And hopefully things will like maybe there's like an old like button on here, so like when these things eventually will stack, there'll just be an auto stack button, which would be nice too. I got so many warehouse keys. Turn them into components already. But yeah, like you should be able to like say your first tier crop to get into the warehouse or whatever. You should have to farm like a bunch of oranges, like maybe like 50 or 100 oranges, 10 boxes of oranges to get a warehouse key, right? And then it's not like I had to go out and find red guys, but you get more component kits for every red guy that you kill, right? Which is like everybody knows, like one thing that's super obnoxious in this game. One thing you always run out is like glue and component kits, and yet you have all these like circuit boards, but you only have like a few things that you need. Like this takes circuit boards, that's take it, but it only takes like 5, and these take like 3, right? Or they could just up this number to like 10 or something, or like you're gonna get like a ton of them. Well, anybody who's good at this game probably have like a ton of them. Anyway, like I don't know where everybody's level of like expertise is in this game, but people who play this game kind of know how to like really know how to get grind for stuff really easy. How many more minutes? 2 minutes. Yeah. could probably make a door out of all these, an indestructible door, or like if I get too many of these, I can make it outline the outside of it, and then no one will be able to ever break into my. But that'll look ugly. Like that's the other thing. Like you should just make things look pretty, or have the option to make things look smoother. Like this is the best like concrete that you could stick in a game, and it looks like crap. Like the concrete. I would rather put concrete on the outside. If I wanted to make something just look good, period, I would just put concrete on the outside of it and paint whatever color I want to. Or, mix brick and concrete to make things look nice. But this looks looks interesting, but it's like ugly. And I almost feel like should be able to put like maybe like wallpaper, wallpaper on the outside of it. Like it only gets destroyed when you hit the the brick on it, but they should be able to put like something on the outside of it so you don't have to get stuck with the design because it doesn't always work, right? I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that feels this way about stuff. Pretty sure. Up. 2 minutes. Have a little bit of sip of my coffee. I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of changes in chapter 2. I think every time I'm like one thing I'm really trying to avoid doing is complaining about, the physics or some of the things about this game. I don't want to do that because you could look at any other streamer out there and I'm pretty sure that's what they'll do is just bitch about like it'd be interesting how multiplayer works. And hopefully they'll have enough people that, multiplayer would be kind of worth it. Okay. I hear a tape bot somewhere. You guys need to get away from my door. Get away from my door. See? Down there. You down there? I gotta get that sorted out. Don't hurt my crops. Yeah. Go for the wood. Don't go for my crops. We are going to have to refine this a little bit. We went down there. At least I went after the wood. I'm not too worried about it. I think I'm gonna have to. How did that guy escape? I think he might have got in here. Or the top part. It would be the top part. I'm gonna figure that out. I can't see everything. Maybe I should move that chair over and figure out where they're attacking from. Or circuit boards. Yeah, I have a feeling they'll probably rebalance the circuit boards eventually. And these heads that are all over the place. I'll fix all that eventually. I'm gonna have to do something about this door because I kind of don't want to put the rotation too much because then these things are gonna like basically see each other and then they're gonna start firing at one another. Kinda don't want for that to happen. Yeah, well, figured that out. Kinda don't want to have to push this wall back because I have to move a whole bunch of stuff. This something's definitely gonna have to change with that. Here. Yes. All right. Turn all our I put something here. If I put like a saw blade here, I'll probably keep them around, but I also don't want to like keep walking into it or whatever. And it seems like kind of like a cheap way of. Gotta have aesthetics, man. Look pretty. Water. See what happens. Yep. Have another raid, which is like whatever. Stupid door. Three. Oh. Keep our defense up for a bit. I think I'm like 7 short from getting a shotgun. Whatever. Eventually, I'm gonna have to get the shotgun, and all this extra farming will be worth it sometimes. So I might as well just keep myself stocked. Or maybe I might just reset the world when Chapter 2 comes out. No. Like, this is a pretty cool place to, like, build a base, but, come in the future, there'll probably be a few more interesting places to go. Stuff, too. See what the future holds. And maybe we'll spend a little bit more time. This one I'm kind of satisfied with. look of it. They painted all the way though? Not painted all the way. Oh. Let's see how much paint I got. Farming for paint. That'll be the next complaint. Eventually. Me personally, I don't feel like I have to like paint everything, but it would be nice to have everything painted, but not a priority. You know, if I was going to get a real car in real life, it would be lime green. No doubt about it. Lime green is kind of a favorite color of mine. Hit that white or green. Now let's accent all these white instead. And they're really not that hard to get more paint if I have to. For some reason, I always go out on my little adventures out to the. I always seem to find paint. I'm pretty sure if paint was like one of my priorities, I would not enjoy painting as much. That's for sure. Oh, blam. Blam. White. Keep that good balance of green and white. I want the whole thing to be green. That would just be boring. Like, pick two good colors. You should be able to make this look nice, I think. Choice for this one. Perfect. Good enough. I feel like I need a hood for this too. I don't like want to see all this, but I don't want to see all this. I don't know how I can change that. See, let's see. Wow. How much time do I have? 13 minutes. Wait. Parts. Top part's okay. I don't like how Yeah, that'll work. See this one. Not really changed too much on this. Yeah, I think once we get more resources, I'll probably rebuild this. The truck, the red truck over here. Very few things I would actually change about this truck. One thing for sure, I would make it maybe too wider and put better steering and suspension in there. Like I would probably have this one's steering on it. Is this one steering? This one's. I have a very different steering on one of these. Where the steering is kind of like stationary. Yeah, I think, yes, this one. No. This one? I think I, no. I remember putting different steering on one of my trucks. It might have not been in this world. Might have been in the other one, which I don't show. But I basically learned how to create this a separate kind of steering. Actually, it might have been this one. Yes, it's this one right here. So this has like the normal steering that you would see here, but in the back, if you look, see if we can pan that out a bit, and how the steering goes on that one. Like it's different. It's not. So I would probably put this kind of steering on the truck because in the back here, they don't move like flippy, like this way and that, right? They're more stationary, right? So when you do turn, the wheels are just turning in place other than, see, like they're, and this thing turns like crazy. It turns on like a dime, basically. Could take it out. But believe me, it turns on a dime. But it's also because it's got like steering on it. But I would definitely probably do this steering on it. Like if you look on here, once I get my Spud shotgun, I will probably change it to this kind of steering. I'm gonna redo that truck. I'm gonna have this kind of steering. Because the biggest problem with this truck, and you ever seen how I play this game, I have flipped this truck many times. Now, when I put this thing down, I never flip the truck. And collecting or rescuing some farmers or whatever, like I love having this design to collect farmers, but I would want it to be maybe have some railing on it. So, like if you've ever seen me collect farmers, I need railing on here because every time it goes off this way or that way, and I need the railing so it's keeps them stable to go in here. Also, I have like you can put two things of whatever you're farming into the crates. Like you could put 2 in here, but you have to put like one sideways to make it work. And that's kind of like a little bit of an OCD thing, but at the same time, like if I'm already at that point in this game where I'm just overkilling stuff, like like this whole defense system I could have made easier. Like I didn't have to put sentry guns here or um, a pit right here. I shouldn't have had to do that, right? So um, shouldn't have had to put a pit here, right? Freaking thing. Yeah, because like I'm in a game of like excess now. Like I have an excessive amount of like component kits. Well, not well. I do have quite a few component kits, and I still have like tons of metal. So I haven't really had to go out there and really grind too much for metal because this thing just eats stuff like crazy. And also, I think we should be able to name, like, waiting for the signage you can put on there so you can like name your vehicles. That's the other thing, but generally we're gonna like paint this. Not paint that. But um yeah, I think the next thing will be to redo the truck. Basically, I want to make it kind of like stylized a little bit more like this. Like I probably won't use too many of these pieces because I don't like having them on there. And some defense capabilities. Like I want to be able to like there was a red guy that was coming my way. I want to be able to like just beat the living crap out of him with my truck and not have to worry about it. So I'm thinking like either saws or drills on something that I can like defend myself in my vehicle. Like I've been chased a few times. I've never been knocked out of my seat yet though. But I definitely would like something a little more defensive. But definitely, I really want the steering on here. That's probably big ones. And then I think this is a level 5 seat. Oh yeah, and the other thing, like, gotta jump up to get that. So maybe I want to be a little bit lower or just accessible. I love how this is like right here though. That's pretty nice. It's pretty handy. And I love this. So I'm never gonna change this. Definitely won't want to change this. Like this is great for like collecting. Like I could collect three things if I wanted to. I just basically take this, dump that over there, and I'll have that whole thing filled up in like not even like 3 minutes. So that's why I have like an overabundance amount of gas, like just because I filled this up once. 3 more minutes. 3 more minutes. Do I have enough potatoes? Probably not. No more all my potatoes. Potatoes. I don't think I've ever met anybody who said the word patatas. I don't know what dialect that is. Seems strange to me. Or just Rob. 143. A red guy pops up. Perfectly in one of these cases. An organization. That's the other one. Need to organize. Punk asses. Lost. That should make it so I could be able to get my shotgun. Yeah, I also think we should farm for armor if that's going to be the case, or like have recipes that create a resistance for us using the cookbot. That's the thought. Just coming up for ideas for you guys. It's alright. A lot can pay me later, or never. Probably never. You know, we think we got it. We got the whole idea. We know how everything. We think we know how everything works, but we don't. It's kind of like the story I told earlier. Like we kind of think we know how everything works, but it doesn't. So can't be mad about it. You really can't. Honestly, you'd just be wasting your time. Am I stuck? No. We have no. Yeah, we know what we want, but at the same time, we don't know how it all works. Kind of like the government. Don't like the government? Yeah, well, you don't really know how it all works. You have a general idea how it works, but you don't know entirely how it works. I think there's a lot of like, yeah, it's no different than a regular job where you have like that one schmuck that you always end up working with. You don't really like them, but you kind of have to have them around because you don't like somebody doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't know what he's talking about. I wonder if he watered it. Water it, yeah, and bam, bam. Not growing fast enough, just water it again. I am not in shortage of water here. Minutes. 2 seconds. Tape bot. Right. And the tape bots. Most amount of damage. Oh yeah. We are. I feel like there's another one. And once again, eventually I'm gonna have to protect this side. Tape guy. Not breaking my stuff, I don't care. Yay! No shortage of metal here. Give me that stuff. Didn't do too bad on that raid. Not too shabby. And actually, had a fair amount of metal. Yeah. Precious broccoli. Got all this stuff. We need to move that. APs. Alright, let's go get a shotgun. Definitely. Figure out a better way to this thing work. Get out of my world and unlag my world. Oh no, I'm getting too many frames now. Too many frames. Looked at my title on spell check. Grammar check. Do 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 do. Oh. I. Oop. There you go. All the little words that you. Blip. Probably won't even see that, but it was, I'd like to tell... Oh, no, 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 no. Get lost. Close. That was close. Yeah, guy could have, like, really did some damage. Definitely need to redo this. Yeah, I bet you any money I won't be able to flip. Put this down. It'd be impossible to flip this thing. Just kind of weird. But also, it's not good for, like, all terrain. No. Nothing on the back of it. Keep it stable. Boop. Yeah, I think when they fixed the wheel thing or whatever, I think there'll be a lot less lag. Definitely the bearings create a lot of lag. Like, you could see it in, like, just my base, and I just like having a lot of defense. And I'm not saying that my computer's, like, super powerful or anything. Far from it. It's just an i5 6600K, and I did overclock it to 4.5. I have a GTX 1070 in it. Like, it far reaches the recommendations for this. I just hope they don't, like, change the requirements for this. Have to have more cores or whatever, or maybe they need to start utilizing their cores for different things. Like, they use a separate core for, like, physics or whatever, which will probably reduce the amount of lag. Then you only have to have, like, one core for the physics. But once again, not a computer genius in any way, shape, or form, but or even know how, you know, working on games really work. You know, I have a lot of ideas, but I really have no idea how any of this stuff works. So I will not be the one who thinks that the developers don't know it. This is annoying, though. Oh my god, I gotta clip that. That's hilarious. Oh my god. You ever been hit by your own car while you were the one driving it? Only scrap mechanic. Oh, jeez, again? Seriously? That's gonna do some damage. I love you, broken game. That's funny. That's hilarious. You know, I'd probably be more mad if that thing killed me. I'm like, seriously? For real, man? I'm happy that didn't kill me, but that would have been, you know, the cherry on top of that. Hilarious. Yeah. And the other thing I love about this is the automatic shoot in there. Got the right tempo and everything. Gimme. Knock me out. Do it. That over enough. See, sideways, no bueno. That's why I'm rebuilding this truck. Love the design of it. Seats too high. Gotta lower it a little bit. Also, I think it sits too high too. A possibility. Here he comes. Ah, stupid tree. Yeah, this is why we need to change the steering on this. This is bogus. Bogus steering. You know, me and my wife like to come find words that we don't typically use anymore in our normal vocabulary. We always like to kind of change it up and just use really strange words. We kind of get enjoyment from that, and I kind of like that. Bogus is definitely one of those words that you normally use in your vocabulary, but I enjoy using. She likes to use the word pandemonium all the time. Oh, it wasn't just crazy today. No, it was total pandemonium. Give me. Yeah, give me that shotgun. Give me that shotgun. See here. Yes. Shotgun, actually. I think I overkilled it. I think I got two of those. Alright. Fine. I'll get your scrap. So, yeah, farmed all that stuff. Oh, and guess I could get those if I wanted to. You know what? We're gonna probably redo. We're gonna redo the this truck today. I think today's the day. Already did that. I think it's time to redo the truck. I think I'm gonna resource more metal. We're gonna make it an all-metal truck. And we're gonna make this puppy whiter. I don't know, maybe today, another time. Like, I'm still technically on holiday, so one-shot kill. Well, with the exception of like getting mowed down by my truck. It's not really a one-shot kill. Probably be like a two-shot kill. I like the red truck though. Something about a red truck that just really works for it. Like you see black trucks all the time. Maybe I might go with orange. I'm gonna get hit by my car again, aren't I? Yeah, there must be a chunk error or something here. That's like the second time. Lag. The lag. Why is there so much lag? Off. Help. Nope. I always remember this episode of South Park. I always really liked. There's the episode where they're doing going ziplining and how it was like the lamest thing they ever did in their life. But the zipline guy, just like the one little one-liner that he throws in there. He's like, yeah, we're gonna go into the forest and get some sweet nar. And it's like, I always thought that was like the most hilarious thing in the world. And just like, yeah, there are kind of like idiots like that, and you just like, I don't know, I'm pretty sure that's not even an actual word. They're just made up some bullshit word. So like every time I like ramp off here, I'm like, I'm gonna get some sweet nar off this ramp in my truck. Thing back up. See, it's great to have that thing down to get stability, but you can't go up hills with it. Hell no. Shortcut. Lag. Seriously? Really? Yeah, we're gonna redo the steering. We're gonna rebuild this truck. We're gonna make it awesome. Because I like the truck. The aspects of it can make it better. Isn't that what scrap mechanics all about? Is trying to make the design that you have. You kind of get a good idea what it is, and then you make it better. You like shotguns? I like shotguns. Right to the face. In the face. The hell. Sliding. That. Meep. kind of wonder when they do, if they do like an armor thing, is it like they're gonna cover up the shirt that they have there? Because like the shirts are kind of unique. I think the armor should be like there, but kind of like underneath. Yeah, they should have the requirements for armor should probably be that you need a clothing bot, that's for sure, and you would have to farm for certain pieces. I think they'll have like legendary, pieces or something for it. Jerk, 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 jerk. Ooh, double component sets. And not have to jump up. Rebuild it. Have time. What else are we gonna do? We already raided a warehouse, so we have all the vegetables that we could possibly need until the upgrade. Oh, a double one again. Nice. While we're at it, because we're gonna probably run out of paint eventually. And all the components. Well, I definitely feel a little bit more confident. Basically talking to almost no one. But I do feel like I'm getting a better flow at this. Not entirely confident. I'm getting better at it, but that's the whole point of this exercise, is to get better at things. I think that everything that we can do can be a possible learning experience. Don't learn anything, you're gonna get Alzheimer's and also, I want my truck to be able to ramp better off that. That would be helpful. One to the face. Oh, another circuit board. What's my requirement for just those plants? Like, I don't think I would ever make a harvester for those plants. That seems like a waste of time. Yeah, it's just those plants. It's like 5. For 1. For 5 painting. 5 for 5. Whatever. Take me very long to make that. Yeah, I'm just used to all the lag. I think I could just build. Reads. Oops. Good way to waste. So first thing, engine out. Load your things you don't need this. Not going to need maybe later. Honeycans. Get later. I'll just put the regular gun away. Go in my locker. Don't need that away. Welding tool. Have that in. I'll use. Never need any of those. Right. Side. Gonna need a chest. These are gonna take up so much room. These need to learn to stack. One day. We'll be like, yay, they stack. Now give me my wedge pieces. All these off. Everything else stacks. So maybe the wheels. Wheels. Basically everything I'm not either gonna stack or necessity are gonna go here. Anything I don't want to take apart will also go over there. Vacuums will not go there. Sure about these. Cool. With the bed. Point. all apart. There. Yeah, not going to be a big deal there. I need to harvest again. Surprisingly, I don't have to travel too far to get more rocks. Should have an auto delete on this thing too. Everything that's attached to this auto delete. Fix it all in your inventory. Do, 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 do. Alright, that wasn't too bad. Got lots of room too. Alright, well, I'm just going to cut it down now. So, see you guys later.